at Men's Warehouse.
Tonight, as we head into the waning days of summer, a record-setting drought, one that's cost California's economy alone more than $2 billion, is wreaking havoc on humans and wildlife alike. We're taking you to the front lines of an epic struggle to save one already threatened species before it's too late. It's just past dawn on this dusty patch of land in the farthest reaches of Northern California. This team from the Department of Fish and Wildlife is in a race against time. We're wading into this murky corner of a creek on an unprecedented fish rescue mission.
So the fish got trapped in here?
They get trapped because the water drops out.
The problem? A drought of epic proportions. So bad, in some areas, there's no running water. 63 trillion gallons of water have disappeared. This was the landscape 3 years ago. This is now.
In a drought year like this, fish are going to die.
We can't have thousands of dead fish washed up on the streams. We just can't.
This is where a lot of the coho have been staying in the cooler water.
They're on the hunt for the fabled coho salmon. Hatched in remote streams, they're supposed to swim out to sea and return upstream to their birth spot to spawn. But there wasn't enough water for the parents to get all the way back. The babies were born in the wrong spot.
We are absolutely on a deadline. The fish can only tolerate so much temperature and so much low water.
Is there enough to take one seine without pushing them?
They're hoping to avoid the worst-case scenario, the type of fish kill that occurred in 2002 when rising water temperatures left fish vulnerable to disease.
What's the goal today?
We could have 500 to 2,000 maybe go up.
Though they can grow up to be more than 2 feet, the baby salmon they're looking for are tiny, just 2 or 3 inches long. In their first netting, they get plenty of fish, but no coho.
This is not what we're looking for, but this is a climate sucker, right?
That's a sucker. Yeah.
Can you hold up right in there, Jake?
So they switch location.
You rattling them out?
I'm trying.
Then, success.
Here we go.
That's one?
Yep.
But finding them is the easy part. Now they have to sort them and calibrate every detail of their transport so that they survive what, from their vantage point, is a harrowing journey to a new home.
Uh-oh.
He should snap out of it.
He's shocked?
It's
He's swimming a little belly up right now.
Not every fish will make it. Some try to escape.
Whoa.
So far, they've only netted a few dozen fish, a drop in the bucket.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, look
Get the ones off top. Ready?
Did you want a picture?
It's a remarkable sight, scores of healthy babies that may represent the future of the species in this area. These salmon are already on the threatened list. You can't fish or eat them. For Jake, one of the rescuers, that's just as well.
You like fish?
No, I don't.
You don't eat fish?
I don't eat fish.
Why not?
I don't eat fish.
Is that like a philosophical, moral thing?
No, I just don't like fish.
I love it.
Here's 24 to 28.
To improve their chances of survival, the rescue team has to mimic the river's conditions for the short ride to their new home.
We're going to put them in this tank. There's oxygen going right now into this tank. I just turned it on.
500 salmon are bound for a hatchery an hour away. They'll ride out the drought in fish tanks, but they're already showing signs of distress.
When they
Yeah,
freak
when they
out.
stress because they need oxygen.
The remaining fish will be moved to other areas of the river with better conditions, where they're more likely to survive in the wild.
This is like a little fish mash unit.
But first, these fish biologists have to tag them so they can be tracked.
We're gonna make a small incision on the left side of the fish, and then we just slide it right in and it heals up.
But first you have to knock them out with a little...
We do. We have to knock them out with the Alka-Seltzer Gold.
And what that does is puts carbon dioxide into the water?
Yeah, so instead of breathing oxygen, they're going to be breathing the carbon dioxide, so they kind of just go to sleep for a little bit while we tag them.
Starting to go sideways.
It's a good sign.
They really are getting sleepy.
Then the tiny fish head to the miniature operating table.
So the first thing we do is measure them. So this guy is going to be 59 millimeters. We take the tag and we just slide it right into the incision, and then it heals up on their own.
So how rewarding is it?
It's very rewarding. It's to get to have a job where day to day that you know you're making a difference, and in the long term can keep this population alive.
That's about all she's going to need.
The salmon rescue operation involves many different players, including local landowners. Many of the threatened fish have ended up on their property.
So where we're walking is normally underwater.
Yes.
What does that tell you about the shape of the river?
Well, this river is in the worst condition that it's been in at least in 30 years.
Preston Harris is a local farmer who works with the Scott River Water Trust, which manages the region's precious little water. The drought has cost the California agriculture industry an estimated $1.5 billion.
It's a very delicate situation. You have a threatened species on your properties.
But you have crops you have to grow.
And you have crops you have to grow.
The farmers have agreed not to divert water from the river for their crops to help save the fish's habitat.
So this is Noah's Ark.
This gives us a fallback, safe haven for those fish.
The 500 fish bound for the hatchery end up here at an enormous fish incubator.
It's got a biofilter to filter out the fish waste and food waste.
It's a very fancy fish tank.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Nice.
The team still out on the water nets another 1,000 fish. These fish, too, get a lift.
The water's cooler and there's a lot of cover for them here.
So in most years, the fish would have gotten here on their own.
Yes.
But this year you're having to truck them.
Right.
Their new home is a shady grove with plenty of cover.
So what are we about to see here? This is like the final push, right?
Yeah, this is the end of it. This is where we're going to release them.
They scatter quickly. So far this summer, the team has found a new home for more than 100,000 fish.
What goes through your mind? What do you think when you see that?
It's a good feeling. I wish that we didn't have to do it, but given the conditions that we're in with the drought and the historical salmon numbers, we have to.
You feel like you did a good thing. You helped them out.
Though they're safe for now, there are no guarantees that the drought won't hit them here too.
Our thanks to the men and women at California Fish and Wildlife for the unprecedented access. We'll be right back.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Infinity.